city known for its towering skyscrapers, rich history, and bustling nightlife. But in recent years, another darker reputation has surfaced. Young men are vanishing after nights out, only to be found in the city's waterways, lifeless. Is this a tragic coincidence, or could something far more sinister be at play? It started as an isolated incident, an occasional drowning that was quickly ruled accidental. But over time, the pattern became too hard to ignore. From the early 2000s to today, more than a dozen young men in Chicago have met the same fate. They go missing after a night out, usually intoxicated, and are later found dead in the city's rivers or lakes. David Dedaus, 21, disappeared in 2009 and was found in the Chicago River several days later. Jelani Day, 25, a graduate student, went missing in 2021 and was later found dead in the Illinois River under mysterious circumstances. Ken Hong, 26, vanished in 2014 after celebrating New Year's Eve with friends. His body was recovered in the Chicago River. Many of the victims fit a similar profile: college-aged, athletic, and found after leaving a bar or party. Most disturbing of all, many of these cases remain unsolved, leaving families with unanswered questions. Could this be the work of a serial killer? The theory that links these drownings together began to gain traction when two retired New York City detectives, Kevin Gannon and Anthony Duarte, started connecting the dots. After investigating the deaths of over 45 young men found drowned under suspicious circumstances across the U.S., they proposed the theory of a serial killer, or group of killers, responsible for these deaths. They named the theory the Smiley Face Killer after graffiti found near some of the crime scenes. These retired detectives claim that the smiley face graffiti is the calling card of the killer. The smiley face, typically spray-painted near where the bodies were discovered, became the haunting signature. But is this graffiti the work of a serial killer taunting authorities, or is it just an eerie coincidence? Chicago has been the epicenter of these disturbing incidents. In 2009, David Dedaus, a 21-year-old college student, went missing after leaving a bar. His body was found days later in the Chicago River. In 2014, Ken Hong, 26, vanished after celebrating New Year's Eve with friends. His body, too, was discovered in the Chicago River. Jelani Day, a 25-year-old graduate student, went missing in August 2021. His body was found in the Illinois River weeks later, sparking national attention. Ken Hong, who went missing on New Year's Eve in 2014, was found dead in the Chicago River after a night of celebration. Kyle Rogers, 23, was found dead in 2017 after going missing from Wicker Park following a night out with friends. His body was found in the river, leading to more speculation about a potential connection to the Smiley Face Killer. Many of these cases bear striking similarities. A young man goes missing after a night of drinking, and days later, his body is found in the water. Despite the growing list of victims, most of these cases have been ruled accidental drownings. But for the families of these men, the answers provided by authorities don't seem to add up. While the Smiley Face Killer theory may sound like a conspiracy to some, the sheer number of cases and the patterns seen in cities across the U.S. raise troubling questions. In addition to the drownings, many of the victims' bodies show unusual characteristics. Some reports suggest there were gaps in their phone records, and others note the lack of injuries typically seen in accidental drownings. Austin Huddleston, 28, was found in Lake Michigan after a night out with friends. Despite his death being ruled accidental, many question whether his case was connected to the Smiley Face Killer theory. Evan Shine, 24, was found in the Chicago River in 2018. Though his death was also ruled an accident, some believe the circumstances surrounding his disappearance are suspicious. The detectives behind the theory argue that something far more sinister is at play. They point to evidence such as the timing of the disappearances, the lack of defensive wounds on the victims, and the locations where the bodies are found. Critics, however, argue that the smiley face graffiti is coincidental and that most of these tragic drownings are just that, tragedies. But why Chicago? Could the city's layout and nightlife make it the perfect hunting ground for a killer? The city's sprawling river system and extensive nightlife scene, especially in areas close to water, could explain why so many of these incidents happen here. Kyle Rogers, a 23-year-old man whose body was discovered in the Chicago River after a night out in Wicker Park, Jelani Day, who vanished in 2021 and was found in the Illinois River, reignited fears that a predator was targeting young men in Chicago. The city's busy nightlife, combined with its expansive rivers and lakes, could make it easy for a predator to strike undetected. After all, many of the men who have disappeared were last seen in bars or parties, vulnerable in their intoxicated state. Despite the similarities between these cases, no arrests have been made, and no suspects have been identified. Families of the victims are left with nothing but questions, as each new body pulled from the water adds to the growing sense of unease. Evan Shine, 24, whose mysterious death in 2018 still haunts his family. His body was found in the Chicago River, and although his death was ruled an accident, his family remains unconvinced. Do you think the Smiley Face Killer is real? Or are these cases just tragic accidents? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth true crime stories and mysteries.